everybody. Sorry that I'm a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties. For some reason, my USB connector that connects this microphone was having some troubles. But hey, now we are here. What are we going to do in this session? We are going to do a refactor. And to explain things, let me share my screen. If there's any problem with the audio of the video, just let me know. I'm going to assume that it all just works. Let me share the screen. Share like that. So I'm currently working with my colleague Rias on a next version of Mailcoach. Mailcoach, for those that don't know it, is a premium package that can be used to send email campaigns using a Laravel application. So it's basically a self-hosted version of MailChimp. We're currently already at major version 3, and we are currently creating version 4. And in version 4, a lot of functionality will be added. We will be able to track transactional mails. Many people were asking for that. And we will also add drip campaigns. So the code base of this package, which is already quite large, will become larger still. And I'd like to do in this session a refactor of the code base where we will move all classes around. We will adopt a domain type of structure in this package. And the organization around domains is something that we already spoke of in the Laravel Beyond CRUD course. My colleague Brent explained it all to you. But for those that didn't read or watch the videos of Laravel Beyond CRUD just yet, let me do a small recap. And I'm going to check the chat if everything is okay. Audio is great. Everybody can see everything good. Then we can move along. So what is a domain type of organization? Well, let's take a look at another big application, and that is Oh Dear. That's the uptime tracker where I'm working on. If you see here, we have an application directory, and there are some directories here that you recognize, but the one special one here is domain. And if I open up domain, then we see the different aspects that Oh Dear is composed of. So we have a blog domain. So we have a blog on our site, and everything around that is in this domain. We have some sites that we want to check. We have here team functionality. And if we open up these things, then you see some other directories that you probably recognize in this subdirectory. And basically, every domain is like a small little application of its own. But it's only in code organization that you see this. I think some people might think that this is something heavy to do, that you have to customize Laravel a lot to organize your code in this structure. But in fact, Laravel doesn't care where these classes are put, and it isn't something heavy at all. It's one of the things that I've learned over the years, that a code structure, or where you put things, is something that you can easily change if you use an IDE. And that's what we are going to do in the Mailcoach code base as well. We are going to create a domain and move everything around those domains. The blog domain, for example, here is a very small one. It's just a post model and support. But as you can see, I think the site one, that's already a larger one with more stuff in it. Okay, that's a small recap of domain. I think Brent in the Laravel Beyond CRUD course, He says it with much more explanation and reasoning behind it. This is just your quick recap. Okay, so we have here the Mailcoach code base. And let's just start working on it. And the first thing that I like to do when I want to refactor two domains is just to make sure that all the tests run. Because if everything goes correctly, then all these tests, they will keep running. Moving classes around shouldn't be hard. I think that in this code base, PHP Storm will be able to just do the right thing without breaking things. Yeah, Mailcoach is already a very large package, so we have a lot of tests here. And maybe also due to the fact that I'm streaming, my computer is a little bit slower. The fans are blowing. I don't have a fancy M1 processor yet. I'm on the old school Intels. Okay, all the tests are running. Lots of assertions here. Okay. People ask me is that what people ask us a lot is how do you determine which domains that there are? And mostly it's a little bit of a gut feeling, if you ask me. Certainly in this case, I know Mailcoach very well. You know which big functional components that your project or package consists of. For Mailcoach, there are big functionalities. And let's first start with creating a domain directory and create a subdirectory for each one of those big functionalities. So Mailcoach, it can send campaigns. So we'll have a campaign domain. And here, everything around lists and sending to that list will live. Then I've already said that we are adding support for transactional, for tracking transactional mail. So you can see which mails have been sent by your application. You can resend them. You can query them. You can obviously see the layout. You can see which links in those mails have been clicked, which mails have been opened, and so on. And I think all of that functionality, it will live in the transactional mail directory. So that's something else as campaign. And then we're also adding drip campaign-like things. So that's where you say, hey, whenever somebody subscribes, I want to send a mail. After 3 days, you should send another mail. If those links are clicked, you should send that mail or add that tag. And we call that functionality automation. So everything around automation will go in there. And then we also have, this is kind of an escape hatch. We also often create a shared domain. Now, for the purists of the theory around this practice, I think they would curse because you shouldn't have a shared domain when everything, when you organize everything according to the rules. But this is like an escape hatch. If you have some functionality that belongs to everything a little bit, then you can put it there. So which domains there are in your application, I can tell you. Maybe you know yourself if you know your application or package well, or maybe you should ask like a business owner, like which big kind of chunks of functionality will we have. Let's check the chat for a bit. Frick, will this be available later? Yeah, the recording will be on YouTube as soon as the stream stops. Papa, it's a nightmare to refactor a project that doesn't include any tests. I wholeheartedly agree. So be sure to have tests. Mac Mini when? Not sure. Ta-ta-ta. Laravel modules. I'm not really familiar with modules. There's like this package by, I think, Nicolas Vidar. I've never used it. It seemed to me one of the heavier ones, but I can't really say anything about it because I haven't used it. Will Mailcoach 4 work on Vapor? Maybe. I don't know yet. We'll see. How come you use source? This isn't a package, is it? It is a package. This is in a package context. So Laravel Mailcoach is the name of the package. Okay. That's all the questions for now. Okay, so we have domain, and then yeah, the work can start. We should start moving around things. And you can see that this is going to be very easy. Let's maybe start with the events here. So if we open up one of these events, these are just classes, but really you shouldn't be taking a look at the code because it doesn't really matter what's in it. Yeah, maybe I can brag that Mailcoach version 4 is going to be PHP 8 only, so we can use all these nice new syntaxes. But that's beside the point. We shouldn't be looking at code. We should be taking a look at where these things should go. And I think all of these events, they revolve around campaigns, except these two. These two, they revolve around the transactional mails. So what are we going to do? We are going to move these two classes around, and then we are going to move the entire namespace. So that's already a good demonstration. So using something like PHP Storm, this is ridiculously easy. This is like the reason why I have PHP Storm and why I'm not using VS Code, which is also nice, but I haven't seen like another tool that can do refactorings like this in PHP Storm that well. So what are we going to do? We are going to move this class, and we are going to move this class to another domain. Which domain? To the transactional mail, transactional mail, like that. Refactor, looking for usages. And if everything goes well, we should have the event here now. And if we take a look at Git status, then you can see that PHP Storm updated a few other files where this file is being used. And I'm not going to do this every time, but for the ones that don't believe that PHP Storm does it right, I'm going to run these tests so you can see that everything will just work. Let's wait on the test. I was hoping that they would be a little bit faster while streaming, but there we go. So it's actually quite nice that in one movement, you can just move a file and be sure that everything just works. Okay, now we are going to do it with the rest of the files. So this one should also go in domain, transactional mail, events, that scanning for usages. Let's take a look. Yep, it's there now. And all of these are part of the campaign domain. So what are we going to do? We are going to refactor the namespace here. So I can put my pointer on the namespace. I can do a, I'm not sure now I see this, rename or move namespace. I think move namespace. Now we are going to move this namespace to domain campaign ends. Refactor them all. They should all be moved. I don't have an events directory anymore. They're now in campaign events. The event directory can be removed. Probably a lot of files have been changed because these events are being used all over the place. And let's run the test again, and that should be good. Nice. Let me check the chat. Pa-pa-pam. What do you think about using the CLI commands for Git and PHP unit over the PHP Storm UI panels? I swing back and forth between this. Now I'm in a phase where I do everything via the CLI, but like running tests, I've done it using the panels. Git, I've always done it using the CLI. That's what I'm most familiar with. My colleague Sebastian, he recently started using a UI, not PHP Storm UI, but UI. And on his blog, he has a good blog post with a couple of nice advantages of using a UI. But personally, I'm on the CLI. Just out of curiosity, does your MacBook throttle CPU while streaming? I'm not going to stream it now, but I guess that it starts throttling because everything feels a little bit slower and the fans are blowing. Okay, let's just continue. So let's see what we are going to do with models. It's basically the same. We have here some transactional mail things, and we have all the other things. They can just go to the campaign, can be scheduled, SU ideas, HTTP content. I think this is all for the campaign. So we can move this namespace to domain campaign models concerns. Refactor this like that. These three, they should go to the transactional mail. So I'm going to move the class to domain transactional mail. Yep, that's the first. Now the second, move class domain transactional mail. That this one also goes to domain transactional mail. That concerns doesn't exist anymore. Campaign, I think all of these can go into the campaign. So I'm going to refactor the entire namespace. So these are the models for domain campaign. Like that. Factor it all. Like that. And now with these refactors, you should see already some some things come alive here, that these are becoming mini applications and this is becoming emptier and emptier. Let's see why there are red lines here. I think it's just of some has attributes. I think it's just PHP Storm not able to handle the Laravel magic well. But let's run all tests. And let's maybe see in another tab how many files that there are changed. You see a lot, but PHP Storm is just doing the right thing. Pum, pum, pum. Now, and the benefit of using a structure like this one is that when I need to work on transactional mail, then I can see only the events and the models of that domain. And this is much easier to reason about than having everything just here in one. And I need to think, hey, which model here, how are these things being used? All right, let's do another one, the enums. These are all campaign, so I can do the namespace, move namespace, domain campaign, like that. Exceptions, also campaign. Yeah, campaign is a part of Mailcoach that is already finished. So it's quite logical that most of the things will live there for now. Campaign exceptions, move it. So enums and exceptions are gone. HTTP is an interesting one. I'm glad we came across this. The HTTP layer is not part of the domain because we like that the HTTP layer, it reflects more the parts of the HTTP application and the URL structure. So that's much more nicer to work with a single HTTP layer and just guide you by that. In the book, Brent gives more reasons about this, but HTTP, we leave that alone. Because if you want to work with HTTP, you likely just follow the URL structure a little bit and see what's there. If you disagree, you can also add other names here, but for us, API app for the application where you need to log into and filmed the public things, that works fine enough for us. The jobs, they will also go in domain campaign. The listeners as well is becoming a little bit monotonous. Monotonous is the right word, I think. Not a native speaker, so I make mistakes often. Campaign, listeners, like that. Mails, there's one here for the transactional mail. So this is the mail that will be used when you want to resend a transactional mail, then it will actually copy the previous transactional mail. So this one, I should move the class. And this class will go in domain transactional mail, like that. Let's see the concerns here. The concerns are all about the campaign. So I'm going to move the entire namespace. Domain campaign. That, and also the other mails. Let me quickly check. Yep, all campaign. Domain campaign. Like that. Boom, boom, boom. Rules. Rules is a kind of sometimes tricky one because they might be shared with the with different domains. Time field rule, but for now we're only using them in the campaign domain. So I'm going to move them also to domain campaign. Traits, what's this? Using Mailcoach models. So yeah, this is definitely a shared one. What is this trait? So in our code base, we use our own models, of course, but people in the config file, they can also choose. Let me quickly find it. They can also choose which models they want to use. So we have here a little trait that is being used all over the place. to quickly fetch these values. You can see here that PHP Storm already did the right thing and also updated the config file so that the right model is being used there. So this one is actually one for the shared domain, I think. So Mailcoach domain shared. Yeah, that's the first one that went in there. So I already refactored a lot. So let me run the test again while I take a look at what's in the chat here. Ta-da. Aren't rules used for controller validations? Why not left as we did with HTTP? That's a valid question. That's also why I sometimes doubt a bit of where they should be sent. In most cases, these rules, they in our bigger applications, they concern like business rule kind of validations, where they're like business rule things going in, and so we have a habit of seeing them as part of the domain layer as well. But we might change our stance on that in the future. Exceptions, I've already done that. The exceptions, they are part of the domain. You can see them. You can see them here. Pa-pa. Question: why domains namespace over having the domains under source? That's a good question. In our applications, you saw it with Odir as well. Do I have Odir still open? I haven't got it open anymore. In Odir, it also lived inside the application directory. You could move your domain folder outside of app or outside of source, but there are actually a few packages that assume that everything is in the app or source directory. So if you're really strict about it, you could move that, but then you should you should be okay with feeling some pain with some software that doesn't agree with you and have some fixes for that. Now, I'm a little bit pragmatic by heart or by nature, so I don't mind just keeping the domain directory in there. I think like a domain structure is good for discoverability, and I think most people will just open up the source or app directory and see it there as well. So in the end, I don't think it matters that much if you put it inside or outside of the app directory. So I'd rather have what gives me the least technical problems. Let's see if there are... Why didn't you use the enum package for enums? Because it is, in this project, we don't need too much functionality for enums, and a simple PHP class will do. And we only make use of a package when a package is really necessary. And in this case, just a simple class is enough. Let's see here. Yeah, I think those are the most important questions. Why do you use domain as singular and not domains plural as actions, commands, or components? Well, we actually had a long discussion about that. But let me see if I recall correctly. Yeah, we chose domain because of how the literature underpinning this practice calls it. So we basically just follow the rest. there was a better reason, but yeah, being consistent with everything in literature was a big one. Yeah, it's a shame that we don't have Brent on the stream, because he could probably just say the underlying reason. You can move the listener for the transactional domain from the campaign. I have it on my mind. I don't know what you mean by that. Did I have move a listener wrong? Yeah, indeed. I moved one wrong here. But no problem. If you move something wrong, just move it to the right place. So this listener, that's very well spotted. It belongs to transactional mail domain, but it actually wound up in the campaign domain. No problem. Just not move the namespace, but move this single class. We are going to move it to transactional mail like that. And it has been moved like that. Then we have some supporty things here. So this is more like the trash can sometimes, things that don't fit. Really. But yeah, let's move it. So the editor here is that's everything around being able to provide a custom editor when editing in campaign. So I think that this one belongs, this namespace, yeah. This namespace belongs in domain campaign. And I think it's absolutely okay that a domain has a support directory for such things as well. Replacers. Yeah, this is also for campaign. Replacers. Domain. Campaign, like that. And everything has been moved. Segments, just the same thing. Domain. So these are segments segments of a list where you can send a campaign to. So that is campaign. That SVGs. This is like needed for like the SVG representation that is being used when we graph out the how many opens and clicks there were right after sending a campaign. So I think we can move this one. Yeah, it's only one class here in the namespace, so I can just move the namespace. Domain campaign. That. So all these are empty. I'm going to remove them just to have this tree a little bit cleaner. You can see there's not much left here. Calculate statistics, horizon status, transactional mail config. That is basically for the domain of transactional mail. That. Calculate statistics logs config. Yeah, this is being used for all domains as well. That's also some syntactic sugar for reading the config file. So I'm going to move this to domain shared. Horizon status, that's also to monitor something for all domains. So I'm also going to put this in domain shared. I've moved everything. I've moved the entire namespace. Where did I move those to? Did I move them wrongly? Here in shared, yeah, of course. But no problem. I can just move everything here to where it should be. So I'm going to move this to campaign. And I hope that you see how easy it is to just move things around without breaking things. If I run this again, then you should see that everything just passes. If I take a look here now, then you can see that transactional mail is something on its own, shared are some leftovers, and campaigns, that's a slightly bigger domain, but only everything from campaign is here. Let's take a look at the questions once more before I dive into the last part. Pam, 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 pam. Ja, inderdaad. I say that a lot. I'm seeing a trend of every package going PHP 8 only. Will PHP 8.7.4 will be supported as for every packages? Well, it will become a trend. We only have 2 PHP 8 only packages out of the hundreds now. But whenever we create a new major version, we will likely create it PHP 8 only. And the ones that we use a lot ourselves, we will proactively create a PHP 8 only version 1. But the PHP 7 versions, versions of those packages, they all work well, so you can keep using those. And when a new Laravel version is added, then we'll update the dependencies of the older versions as well, so you can keep on using the old packages. New features will be added to the PHP 8 only branches, though. But we're not going to proactively create a PHP 8 version of every package, because that would take too long. But the things that we work ourselves a lot with and want to add features to, they will go PHP 8 only. It's basically just the same as we did in PHP 7, and that worked out well for us, and I think for most people in the community as well. I guess that this is just demo code. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. More about PHP, typo in the last move, unless you misspell it. Did I misspell something? I'm going to address that in a bit. Last question here. Isn't it a little scary to keep all of these changes without committing step by step? It can be a little bit scary, but as you see, it is quite stable, because I've made all of these changes. There's nothing going wrong here. If you like, you can commit a little bit in between. Some people like that. Sometimes I do that, sometimes not. It's just feeling how confident I am. But having done this kind of refactor quite a lot, I'm pretty confident that PHP Storm will do the right thing. And certainly if you have enough tests. Right, as long as tests are green. Okay. So I hope that you see that it is quite easy to move stuff around. Laravel doesn't really care where your models live or which domains that you have. I made a mistake here. This is the mistake. Let's just correct the mistake. Just move that to campaigns. Support. Now campaign can be gone, and it is corrected. Or is it? Did I do something wrong here? Directory campaign. I misspelled it here as well. What? Campaign. Campaigns, campaign. I misspelled it here. This one is empty. This can go away. Here, campaigns. I just misspelled it. Yeah. I'm already almost at an hour of live streaming, and that's like when my brain starts a little bit shutting down. Refactor. Wait. Domain, campaign, support. Yeah, refactor, like that. Domain campaign support. Did I do it wrong again? Yeah, I did it wrong again. Let's do it again. Now, good for realsies. Campaign, like that. Campaign. Yep. And this one can go away. This one can come away. And now we have our domains. Okay. So you see that automation is empty here. Well, I have to confess something. I cheated a little bit because I actually did this refactor yesterday, and I'm working here on a branch where there is no automation yet. So what I'm going to do is maybe commit this, but I don't really need it. If I go to the V4 branch, which is the actual branch that we are working on, and just maybe pull everything in. So my colleague Rias has already done some work while I was streaming this. Then you can see here that in automation, there's also a lot. So this is the actual for V4 branch, no tricks being applied here. So now you can see that my colleague Rias, he works mostly on automation. So this directory is his directory. I'm working more on transactional mail. So I only have to see these things happening. And with a little bit of luck, campaigns won't have to be touched too much. So that's a little bit of the pro side of using like a domain kind of approach, that you have like these little more workable kind of mini applications to work on. Now let's take a look at tests. In my refactor of yesterday, I didn't touch the test, but my colleague Rias, he also liked to structure these tests just as the actual source code is organized. In some cases, I like that the tests follow the structure of a package, and sometimes I don't think it is really necessary, because you're refactoring your code a lot, and if you have just a few good tests, or if you have like good functional tests, then those files won't really match up with one file from the file structure anyway. Here it follows it a little bit, but we have packages where you just have a folder called feature tests, and they do tests from all over the place, and the tests are named after the feature and not after a domain or a class. So this is something that you should make up your own mind what you should do. So yeah, that is everything that I wanted to show you during this stream. I hope you take away from it that you shouldn't be afraid of moving classes around if you use something like PHP Storm. I'm not being paid by the folks at PHP Storm. That's what I actually think about this IDE. If you want to know more about domain organization, check out this book that Brent and our team have written. It's basically contains more knowledge like this, how you can structure things, how you can create a big maintainable application in Laravel. And if you're interested in Mailcoach, just take a look here. We use it to send out all of our mails. I also use it for my blog, for sending out the newsletter. I created actually especially for that. I'm going to take a look at one more time at the questions in the chat, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah, I was typing that. I was doing that typo too much. Can you make a video on your Git flow procedure? Yeah, we're thinking about a bit rethinking about how we will handle this. Maybe I'll write a blog post about this in the future. Vapor support may be coming. Ba, ba, ba. Yeah, I think this it exceptions isn't part of the app layer. For exceptions, it's a little bit tricky. Some exceptions are exceptions that are thrown by a business code, and then I feel they are part of the domain. But you're surely right that you have also this infrastructure kind of exceptions, which could live in app or source exceptions. I think so. It's also something where you should make up your own mind for your particular exception. So it can be both. Okay, so yeah, that is for me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next stream. Bye bye.